want you to look at your life right now. Really look at it. Not the version you show your friends on social media, and not the version you tell yourself about when you are lying in bed at night trying to fall asleep. I want you to look at the cold, hard reality of your financial existence. If you stopped working today, exactly how long could you survive? A month? 6 months? A year? For the vast majority of people, even those who consider themselves smart, successful, and educated, the answer is terrifyingly short. I have spent over 90 years on this planet. I have seen empires rise and fall. I have seen technology change the way we live, from the radio to the internet. But there is one thing that has never changed, not once, and that is the tragic ability of human beings to sabotage their own future. I look around today and I see a generation of men who are running harder than ever before. You are working longer hours. You are more productive than your grandfathers were. You have access to more information in your pocket than the President of the United States had 30 years ago, and yet you are losing. You are losing the battle for financial independence. You are trapped on a treadmill that is moving just a little bit faster than you can run. And the tragedy, the real tragedy, is that you think it is because of the economy. You think it is because of inflation. You think it is because the system is rigged against the little guy. Now, I am not saying those things don't exist, but let me tell you a brutal truth that might make you want to turn this video off, but I beg you, do not turn it off, because this truth is the only thing that can save you. The reason you are not wealthy, the reason you feel that gnawing anxiety in your stomach every time a bill arrives, is not because of the Federal Reserve. It is not because of your boss. It is because of your boss. It is because of you. It is because of the habits you have cultivated day after day, year after year, often without even realizing it. There is a quote by Samuel Johnson that I have carried with me for my entire life. He said, "The chains of habit are too light to be felt until they are too heavy to be broken." I want you to visualize that for a moment. Invisible chains. When you are 20 or 30, you don't feel them. You buy the car, you take the loan, you ignore the savings account. It feels light. It feels easy. It feels like freedom. But then you wake up at 50 and you try to move, you try to retire, you try to change your life, and you realize you cannot move. The chains have become steel, and you are a prisoner of your own past decisions. I am speaking to you today not just as an investor, but as an observer of human nature. I have known men with IQs of 180 who died broke. I have known men who could calculate the trajectory of a rocket ship but could not keep money in their pocket for more than a week. And I have known men with average intelligence, men who never went to Ivy League schools, who built fortunes that lasted for generations. What was the difference? It was not luck. It was not intellect. It was temperament. It was behavior. It was habit. In this conversation, I want you to treat this as a conversation, just you and me. I'm going to walk you through the 3 specific money habits that are keeping you poor. And when I use the word poor, I need to clarify something. I am not talking about the person who is born into extreme poverty and has no opportunity. That is a societal tragedy. I am talking about the middle class. I am talking about you. I am talking about the poor mindset that infects people earning 6 figures a year. You see, poverty is not just a number in a bank account. Poverty is a behavioral pattern. It is a loop. It is a reaction to the world that ensures you will never build equity, you will never own your time, and you will always be at the mercy of someone else. You might be wearing a nice suit. You might drive a German car. You might live in a zip code that impresses your neighbors. But if you have to trade your time for money every single day just to keep the lights on, you are not rich. You are just a well-paid servant. And that is a precarious place to be. Why am I telling you this? Why does an old man in Omaha care about your financial habits? Because it pains me to see potential wasted. It pains me to see the magic of compound interest working against people instead of for them. Albert Einstein supposedly called compound interest the 8th wonder of the world. He said, he who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. Most of you are paying it. You are paying it to the banks, to the credit card companies, to the luxury brands that sell you status symbols that lose value the moment you buy them. You are on the wrong side of the equation. Over the next 40 minutes, we are going to flip that equation, but I must warn you, what I am about to say is not exciting. It is not a get-rich-quick scheme. If you are looking for the next hot crypto token or a secret stock tip that will double your money by next Tuesday, please close this video right now. I cannot help you. Nobody can help you. You are a gambler, not an investor, and the house always wins eventually. But if you are tired of the anxiety, if you are tired of looking at the ceiling at 3 a.m., wondering if you have enough, if you are ready to build the kind of wealth that is boring, slow, and absolutely unbreakable, then stay with me. We are going to deconstruct the 3 habits that have been programmed into you by society, by advertising, and perhaps even by your own parents. We are going to shine a light on them, because once you see the change, you can begin to break them. The first habit we need to discuss is perhaps the most insidious of them all. It is the habit that disguises itself as success. It is the habit that makes you feel good in the moment while it slowly bleeds your future dry. It is the trap of the outer scorecard. Let me explain what that means and why it is the primary reason the middle class is slowly dying. The first habit that keeps the middle class in a permanent state of struggle is the addiction to the outer scorecard. This is a concept I have spoken about with my family and my partners for decades, but very few people truly understand what it means. The outer scorecard is when you measure your life by how the world sees you. It is the belief that success is visible. It is the belief that if you have $1 million, you should look like you have $1 million. And this is the single greatest lie in the history of capitalism. Let me tell you a story about a man I knew back in the 1960s. Let's call him Jim. Jim was a smart man. He was a professional. He worked hard, and he earned a very good salary for the time. Every 3 years, Jim would drive into his driveway with a brand new car. It was always the latest model, shiny, smelling of fresh leather. He would invite the neighbors over to look at it. He would beam with pride as they complimented him. Then a few years later, he would renovate his house. He put in a swimming pool that he used maybe 3 times a summer. He bought the finest suits. To anyone looking from the outside, Jim was a rich man. He was the definition of the American dream. But I knew the truth. I knew that Jim was not rich. Jim was drowning. Every time he bought that new car, he was not buying an asset. He was buying a liability. He was taking capital money that could have been working for him in a great business, and he was setting it on fire. He was trading his freedom for a round of applause from people he didn't even like that much. When Jim retired, he had nothing. He had a house full of stuff, a garage full of depreciating metal, and a bank account that was empty. He had spent 40 years looking rich, which guaranteed that he would never actually be rich. You see, there is a fundamental confusion in America today between income and wealth. They are not the same thing. In fact, they are often opposites. Income is how much money you bring home in a paycheck. Wealth is what you have left over. Wealth is the money that is not spent. Wealth is the money that is quietly sitting in investments, growing, compounding, working for you while you sleep. But the problem is, wealth is invisible. You cannot see my bank account. You cannot see my stock portfolio. You can only see my house and my car. So in order to show you that I am successful, I feel the pressure to spend my wealth. And the moment I spend it, it is gone. I still live in the same house in Omaha that I bought in 1958. I bought it for $31,500. People often ask me, Warren, why don't you move? You have billions of dollars. You could live in a palace. You could live in a private island. And I always look at them with genuine confusion. Why would I move? I have a warm bed. I have a comfortable chair. In the winter, it is warm. In the summer, it is cool. It holds all my memories. What exactly would a $10 million house give me that I do not already have? The answer is nothing. It would give me nothing but headaches, higher taxes, and the envy of strangers. But for most men, the house is not a place to live. It is a stage. It is a prop used to signal status. And this need to signal status is the habit that keeps you poor. It is the lifestyle creep. You get a promotion, so you buy a better car. You get a bonus, so you book a more expensive vacation. Your expenses rise to meet your income. It is like running on a treadmill where the speed keeps increasing. You are running faster and faster, sweating more and more, but you are not moving forward an inch. I want you to pause and look at your own spending habits, honestly. When you bought that last luxury item, that watch, that car, that expensive piece of electronics, ask yourself, did I buy this because it truly adds value to my life? Or did I buy it because I wanted to feel a certain way? Did I buy it because I wanted to project an image of success? If you are buying things to impress others, you are playing a game you cannot win, because there will always be someone with a faster car. There will always be someone with a bigger house. If your self-worth is tied to your net worth, and your net worth is tied to your possessions, you will be miserable. You will be in a constant state of anxiety, terrified that if you lose your job, the whole facade will crumble. And for many of you, that fear is real. You are one paycheck away from disaster because you have traded your safety margin for status. This brings us to the most important definition you will ever learn in finance. You must understand the difference between an asset and a liability. This is something that is not taught in schools, which is a tragedy. Most people think their house is an asset. It is not, unless you are renting it out and it puts cash in your pocket every month. Your house is a liability. It takes money out of your pocket. Taxes, insurance, maintenance, repairs. The car in your driveway, a liability. The clothes in your closet, liabilities. An asset is something that pays you. An asset is a business. An asset is a stock that pays dividends. An asset is a bond. An asset is a piece of farmland. The rich focus their entire lives on acquiring assets. The middle class focuses their entire lives on acquiring liabilities that they think are assets. And here is the painful part. When you spend money on liabilities, you are not just spending the cash you have today, you are destroying the future potential of that money. If you spend $50,000 on a luxury car today, you are not just spending $50,000, you are spending what that $50,000 could have become. If you had invested that money in a decent S&P 500 index fund or a great American business and let it sit for 30 years, it could have been worth $500,000 or more. So that car didn't cost you $50,000. It cost you your retirement. It cost you your freedom. Is the leather seat really worth $500,000 to you? Is the smell of the new car worth 5 years of your life spent working in a cubicle you hate? This is the math that the wealthy do in their heads instinctively, and this is the math that the poor ignore. To break this habit, you must develop what I call an inner scorecard. You must reach a point where you do not care what the neighbors think. You must reach a point where you derive satisfaction from the numbers in your investment account, not the brand on your shirt. When you can drive an old car with pride, knowing that you have $1 million working for you in the market, that is when you are truly free. That is when you have broken the chains of the first habit. But avoiding the trap of looking rich is only the first step. Once you have saved that capital, once you have decided to live below your means, you face a new danger. A danger that is perhaps even more tempting and more destructive than vanity. It is the danger of greed. It is the habit of treating the financial markets like a casino. And that is what we need to talk about next. Let's assume you have listened to the first part of this message. You have stopped trying to impress your neighbors. You have cut your expenses. You have saved your first $10,000 or $50,000. You are feeling good, but now you face a new enemy. And this enemy is not vanity. It is impatience. It is the overwhelming urge to turn that pile of money into a mountain of gold overnight. This brings us to the second habit that keeps people poor, the casino mentality. I have said this before, and I will say it again. The stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient. Read that again in your mind, from the impatient to the patient. But look at how most people behave. They treat the New York Stock Exchange not as a place to buy ownership in great American businesses, but as a giant casino where they can place bets on little electronic blips moving across the screen. The modern world has made this addiction worse. You have apps on your phone that gamify investing. They throw confetti when you buy a stock. They flash red and green lights. They send you notifications every minute. This stock is up 5%. That coin is down 10%. It is designed to trigger your dopamine, just like a slot machine in Las Vegas. And just like in Vegas, if you play long enough without a system, the house will eventually take everything you have. Let me introduce you to a concept that my teacher, Ben Graham, taught me 70 years ago. It is the single most important idea in finance. If you understand this, you will be wealthier than 99% of your peers. If you don't, you will be their victim. It is the story of Mr. Market. Imagine that you are partners in a private business with a man named Mr. Market. Every day, without fail, Mr. Market comes to your office or your home and offers to buy your share of the business or sell you his share. Now, the business itself is stable. It produces the same amount of shoes or candy or insurance policies as it did yesterday. But Mr. Market is a manic depressive. He is emotionally unstable. Some days Mr. Market is incredibly euphoric. He sees only sunshine and rainbows. On those days, he offers a very high price for your shares. He says, the future is bright. I will pay you anything. Other days, Mr. Market is deeply depressed. He sees nothing but storm clouds and disaster. On those days, he is terrified, and he offers to sell you his shares for pennies on the dollar. He says, the world is ending. Please just take it off my hands. Now, here is the question. Would you let this crazy person dictate how you feel about your business? Would you feel rich just because he is in a good mood? Would you feel poor just because he is depressed? Of course not. You would look at the business results. You would look at the cash flow. And yet this is exactly what you do when you check your stock portfolio every day. The habit that keeps you poor is reacting to Mr. Market instead of exploiting him. When the market crashes, when the headlines are screaming crisis, when your friends are selling in a panic, that is when Mr. Market is depressed. That is the time to buy. That is when the sale is on. But what does the average person do? They get scared. Their stomach churns. They sell. They lock in their losses because they cannot handle the emotional pain of seeing the number go down. And conversely, when the market is at an all-time high, when the taxi driver is giving you stock tips, when your brother-in-law is bragging about how much money he made on some speculative tech stock, that is when Mr. Market is euphoric. And that is exactly when the average person buys. They buy because of a very dangerous emotion called FOMO, fear of missing out. You see your neighbor getting rich on something you don't understand, and it drives you crazy. You think, why him? Why not me? So you jump in. Usually you jump in right at the top, just before the bubble bursts. This is not investing. This is speculating. This is gambling. And it is a habit that will ensure you stay poor forever. Investing is not about being smarter than everyone else. It is not about having a higher IQ. Investing is about emotional discipline. It is about having the ability to stand alone. You must be able to watch the crowd run one way and have the courage to stand still, or even run the other way based on your own analysis of the facts. I have a simple mental trick that I use, and I want you to try it. Imagine that you have a punch card with only 20 slots in it. Every time you make an investment decision, every time you buy a stock or an asset, you have to punch a hole in that card. And once you have punched all 20 holes, you can never make another investment for the rest of your life. Think about how that would change your behavior. You wouldn't buy a stock just because you heard a rumor at a cocktail party. You wouldn't buy something just because the price is going up today. You would think long and hard. You would do your research. You would wait. You would wait for the fat pitch. You would only swing when everything was perfect. If you operated with that level of patience, you would become incredibly wealthy. But most people treat their portfolio like a bar of soap. The more they handle it, the smaller it gets. They buy, they sell, they pay fees, they pay taxes, and they make mistakes. Activity is the enemy of returns. The true investor is bored. If you are having fun investing, if you are getting an adrenaline rush, you are probably losing money. Good investing should be like watching paint dry or watching grass grow. It is the slow, methodical accumulation of productive assets over time. You must stop looking at the price of the stock and start looking at the value of the business. Price is what you pay, value is what you get. If you walk into a supermarket and see that steaks are on sale for 50% off, do you run out of the store screaming in panic? No. You load up your cart, you are happy. Yet when the stock market goes on sale, when the best companies in America are trading at a discount, people run for the exits. This is irrational. This is the behavior of a poor person, regardless of how much money they currently have. You need to divorce yourself from the noise. Turn off the financial news. Stop checking your phone every hour. If you own a piece of a great business, it does not matter if the stock market closes for 5 years starting tomorrow. You know the business will keep producing, keep selling, and keep growing. That is the mindset of an owner. And owners get rich. Renters and gamblers stay poor. But even if you conquer your vanity, and even if you conquer your impulse to gamble, there is one final habit that can still defeat you. It is a subtle one. It is the failure to understand the most powerful force in the universe. It is the habit of thinking short-term in a long-term world. And this leads us to the third and final chain we must break. We have talked about spending money you don't have to impress people you don't like. We have talked about gambling your hard-earned savings in a casino market driven by emotion. But now we arrive at the third habit. This one is less obvious. It is quiet. It is subtle. But it is the single biggest reason why people wake up at 60 years old and realize they have wasted their lives. It is the habit of ignoring the eighth wonder of the world, compound interest, and more specifically, the habit of short-term thinking. You have probably heard the story of the snowball. It is the title of my biography, and it is the metaphor I use to describe my entire life. Life is like a snowball. The important thing is finding wet snow on a really long hill. Now that sounds simple, maybe too simple, but I want you to really think about the physics of that statement. When you start rolling a snowball, it is tiny. You are pushing it with your hands. It takes effort. You push, and after a year, it is only slightly bigger. You look at it and say, is this it? Is this all I get for my hard work? This is the moment where most people quit. This is the moment where the third habit destroys you. You get bored. You get impatient. You stop pushing, or worse, you break the snowball apart to buy a new TV or a vacation. But if you keep pushing, something magical happens, and as the surface area of the snowball grows, it picks up more snow with every revolution. The growth is not linear, it is exponential. After 10 years, the snowball is big. After 30 years, it is a boulder. After 50 years, it is an avalanche that nothing can stop. It grows by itself. You don't even have to push anymore. Gravity takes over. I made 99% of my wealth after my 50th birthday. Think about that, 99%. If I had retired at 40 or even 50, I would just be another moderately successful investor in Omaha that nobody had ever heard of. The secret was not that I was smarter than everyone else. The secret was that I had a longer hill. I started early and I never stopped. I let the math work for me. The human brain is not designed to understand exponential growth. We think in straight lines. If you take 30 linear steps, you get to 30. But if you take 30 exponential steps, where each step doubles the previous one, do you know where you end up? You end up 1 billion steps away. You would circle the earth 26 times. That is the power you are ignoring when you interrupt the compounding process. The habit that keeps you poor is the inability to delay gratification. You want the reward now. You want the marshmallows now. But wealth is simply the transfer of money from the present to the future. Every time you spend $1 today, you are stealing $10 from your future self. When you understand this, spending money on frivolous things actually becomes painful. You don't see a $5 coffee, you see $50 of lost retirement. You don't see a $1,000 phone, you see $10,000 of lost freedom. But compounding is not just about money, and this is where most people miss the point entirely. The most valuable asset you have is not your bank account, it is your mind. And the habit of intellectual stagnation, stopping your learning, is just as destructive as spending your cash. I read 5 to 6 hours a day. I've done this for my entire adult life. I sit in my office and I read newspapers, annual reports, trade journals, books. Charlie Munger, my partner, does the same. We are learning machines. Why? Because knowledge works exactly like compound interest. When you learn a new concept, it connects with something you already know. It builds a framework. The more you know, the faster you can learn new things. It snowballs. Most men stop learning the day they leave school. They get a job, they learn the minimum required to not get fired, and then they coast. They come home, they watch television, they scroll through social media, and they let their brains atrophy. This is a tragedy. If you want to be wealthy, you must go to bed every night a little wiser than you were when you woke up. If you improve your skills by just 1% every day, you will not be 365% better at the end of the year. You will be 37 times better. 37 times. That is the math. But if you stay the same, or if you let your skills erode, you are falling behind. In a global economy where you are competing with billions of people, standing still is the same as moving backward. You need to build what I call a circle of competence. You don't need to be an expert on everything. I don't understand computer chips. I don't understand biopharma, but I understand insurance. I understand furniture. I understand candy. I stay inside my circle. I read everything I can about these industries until I know more than the other guy. That is my edge. What is your circle? What are you reading today that will make you more valuable tomorrow? If the answer is nothing, then you are practicing the habit of poverty. You are consuming value instead of creating it. The world is full of people who want the output without the input. They want the physique without the exercise. They want the fortune without the saving. They want the wisdom without the study. It doesn't work that way. Nature does not cheat. You cannot cheat the harvest. You have to plant the seeds. You have to water them. And this is the hardest part. You have to wait. We live in a culture of now. Same day delivery, high-speed internet, instant gratification. It has rewired your brain to expect immediate results. But the things that truly matter, wealth, health, relationships, wisdom, they operate on a different clock. They operate on geological time. They are slow. If you try to speed up a pregnancy, you don't get a baby in 1 month, you get a tragedy. If you try to speed up wealth, you don't get rich, you get wrecked. You take shortcuts, you take leverage, you take risks you don't understand, and eventually you blow up. The 3 habits we have discussed, the looking rich trap, the casino mentality, and ignoring compounding, they are all interconnected. They all stem from the same root cause: a lack of mastery over yourself, a lack of patience, a lack of perspective. You have the power to change this. The hill is still there. The snow is still there. It is never too late to start rolling your snowball, but you have to start today, and you have to promise yourself that you will not stop pushing, no matter how small it looks in the beginning. So, how do we put all of this together? How do we take these philosophies and turn them into a concrete action plan that you can start using the moment this video ends? Let's bring it all home. We have covered a lot of ground today. We have stared into the mirror and faced the uncomfortable truths about why so many people remain trapped in a cycle of financial mediocrity. We have identified the 3 enemies: the vanity of the outer scorecard, the recklessness of the casino mentality, and the arrogance of ignoring compound interest. Now you have a choice. You can click off this video, go back to your normal routine, buy something you don't need, and complain about the economy tomorrow. That is the easy path. That is the path of least resistance. And it is the path that leads to a retirement filled with regret and dependency. Or You can decide right here and right now that you are done with that life. You can decide to break the chains. If you are ready to do that, I want to give you a simple 4-step blueprint. It is not magic. It is not a secret formula. It is just common sense, which, as Voltaire said, is not so common. Step 1, perform a ruthlessly honest audit of your life. Tonight, sit down with your bank statements. Look at every single dollar that left your account in the last 90 days. Highlight the things that were truly necessary for your survival and your happiness. You will find that a significant portion of your money is bleeding out into things that bring you zero value. Subscriptions you don't use, clothes you don't wear, gadgets that are gathering dust. Cut them without mercy. Stop trying to look rich so that you can actually start becoming rich. Step 2, pay yourself first. This is the oldest rule in the book, and yet nobody follows it. Before you pay the electric company, before you pay the landlord, before you buy groceries, you pay your future self. Set up an automatic transfer the day your paycheck hits, even if it is only $50. Move it to an investment account that you cannot touch. Make it invisible. If you don't see it, you won't spend it. You must treat your savings like a tax, a mandatory payment to your own freedom. Step 3, be boring. Stop looking for the needle in the haystack. Just buy the haystack. For 99% of people, the best investment is a low-cost S&P 500 index fund. Buy a slice of American business. Buy it every month, regardless of whether the market is up, down, or sideways. Don't read the headlines. Don't panic. Just keep buying. If you do this for 20 or 30 years, you will outperform almost every professional hedge fund manager on Wall Street. It is boring, it is slow, and it works. Step 4, invest in your mind. This is the only investment that cannot be taxed and cannot be inflated away. Read biographies of great men, read history, read about accounting. If you can analyze a balance sheet, you can understand the world. Turn off the noise of the 24-hour news cycle, which is designed to keep you scared, and open a book that has stood the test of time. I want to leave you with one final thought. Money is not the goal. Money has no value in itself. It is just printed paper. The goal is freedom. The goal is the ability to wake up in the morning and say, I can do whatever I want today. That is the ultimate luxury. I have all the money in the world, but the only thing I buy that you probably don't is the freedom to use my time exactly how I please. I don't attend meetings I don't want to attend. I don't deal with people I don't like. I am the master of my own calendar. That is what you are fighting for. You are not fighting for a Ferrari. You are fighting for your life. You are fighting for the time to spend with your children, your spouse, or your passions. The chains of habit are light. You can break them today, but you have to want it. You have to be willing to look like a fool in the short term to be a winner in the long term. You have to be willing to drive the old car while your broke neighbor drives the new one. You have to be willing to stay home and read while your friends are out spending money they don't have. It is a lonely road sometimes, but I promise you, the view from the top is worth it. Thank you for giving me your most valuable asset, your time. If you found wisdom in these words, and if you are committed to building a life of true wealth and independence, I invite you to subscribe. We will continue this journey together. But more importantly, don't just watch this video. Act on it. Start rolling your snowball today. I am Warren Buffett. Thank you for listening.